Hello. So, it is time for VPL Week 2. This time, we're against Shinrai and the Brighton and Hove Ambipom. Getting straight into it, no messing about. This team is a scary threat, and is actually currently the leader, because they got a 6-0 sweep with Latios. Alongside that, Latios, they have Lucario, Hippowdon, Roserade, Empoleon, Aerodactyl, Rotom Heat, Marwile, and Swellow. This is a very top-end team with a lot of scary threats and some pretty good defensive Pokemon as well. Hippowdon and Empoleon are pretty scary on the defensive side. Rotom Heat can kind of fill in that missing slot as well. It makes taking down their more defensive pieces a lot trickier. And alongside that, they've got a lot of offense. Aero's kind of scary. Swellow's not that scary, because it doesn't actually get Boom Burst, I don't believe. So I believe if it comes, it's going to be just physical. Roserade's a bit of a pain. But the main ones are Lucario and Latios. Those are the two big ones that we're going to be afraid of. Latios does not have great switch-ins, no matter what the set. And Lucario can just win the game on its own if it gets a Swords Dance off. Roserade is a little scary, but I do have multiple checks to it. Aero on the same deal, and Rotom Heat is also kind of a similar thing. So it's going to be a bit weird, but I feel pretty comfortable with the team that I'm bringing. Mostly because it doesn't have too many radical changes from last week. Due to my kind of also top-endy nature of my team. But let's get into that. First of all, Scarf Blaziken. I don't know why there's no HP investment on here, but here we are. Scarf Blaziken, we are Jolly Scarf this time because we want to outspeed the Aerodactyl. I don't know how they want to EV things, but I thought I'd better play it safe. We'll go faster than Aerodactyl, just to make sure I can revenge it. And we, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, U-turn, very standard on Scarf Blaziken. And then the final move of choice is Stone Edge, notably for the Rotom Heat, but it's also nice for the Aerodactyl as well. So a little bit of extra power there on both of those Pokemon. It's only a little bit more, but if it's what I need to hit, what I need to lock myself into late game to win the game, I'll go for it. But otherwise, Close Combat hits their team pretty well, to be honest. Like, out of the main 7, like, they only actually have, like, they have a couple resists, but they're less bulky on the physical side. That being Roserade and Latios, and everything else doesn't really appreciate a Close Combat, so Flare Blitzes are a little bit of a similar deal, but then they have, things like Rotom Heat and I'd say Latios as well in that kind of department, so being able to U-turn out with Blaziken is going to be quite nice, keep our momentum up, and see what we can go for from there. Next up, hey look, it's defensive Latias, except, you know how last time I carried Earthquake? Well, this time I'm doing it again, but I'm doing it because I'm actually physical Latias. I know, crazy, right? We're pretty defensive. We outspeed Lucario, and then the rest is all in basically physical bulk. The reason for this, I'm also just going to drop an HP point, put in defense, just because our numbers. The reason for this is Lucario. So I wanted an answer to Lucario, and it was this or Zapdos. This, I think, was generally better, but either way, both of them had trouble actually killing the Lucario while checking it. And if it's Special Lucario, it's Special Lucario, and fair enough. But if it's physical and Swords Dance, then I need to make sure I've got a way to deal with it. And Latias is going to be the best way I've got to deal with it, other than Zapdos. But Zapdos gets walled by 3 of the Pokemon that are, like, major contenders for them coming to this match. Hippowdon, almost certainly coming. Roserade, almost certainly coming. In fact, actually, no, guaranteed coming, in my eyes. Rotom Heat is also almost certainly coming. In my eyes, the 6 that are coming are Latios, Lucario, Hippo, Roserade, Empoleon, and Rotom Heat. I think they're going to drop Aerodactyl, because I don't think they need something that fast. So, in my eyes, it's like, well, I need to have something to take the Lucario. But I could go Zapdos, but one, I can't hit 3 of the Pokemon that are going to come, because Zapdos only gets really electric coverage, and Rotom, Roserade, and Hippo just all will eat that for days. And 2 is the fact that, like, actually killing the Lucario can be an issue. So I've gone with a physical Latias with Earthquake because it 2-hit KOs, Lucario. I know it was kind of a meme last time because, you know, it's like, oh yeah, run it with run an Earthquake on Latias because, you know, Heatran. But this time I'm doing it because otherwise I don't have a way to really kill that Lucario. So, yeah. We're doing it this way. So, yeah. It sounds dumb, but it's probably the best chance we've got. Unless... Because, okay, so the thing is, I was looking at coverage, and the reason why I'm partially doing this as well is, if you notice, they have 3 steals. They have Lucario, Empoleon, and Mawile. And while I don't expect Mawile to come, the 3 steals is pretty scary. There's a good chance Empoleon can come in against this, no problem. And that's kind of why I was looking at it. So, if we kind of look at, like, the set, against the Lucario... So that's Aura Sphere, but we don't get to run Aura Sphere, we have to run Earthquake, and it's still just 56%. So it's pretty reasonable. The only thing I never really looked was actually just how much Psychic did. It's 50%? I should probably just run Psychic and go Special, let's be realistic. But yeah, this is just like a default, like I said, so if we actually put in the defensive calc, 164, you can see that, like, it most of the time isn't going to... Well, that's without leftovers. So if it's Life Orb, then it won't KO us with leftovers. But if it does get to +2 with a Swords Dance, there's a 1 in 8 chance it kills us. And it's like, well, I need the speed, so it's like, it's that or nothing. And I'm gonna change it to Special, because what am I doing? I actually would be having 3 physical attackers otherwise, so probably best that I have another special attacker. So we'll go with Psychic and actually, you know, have a real Latias. You know, Timid. Timid for the speed, and then, yeah. There we go. Now it's more of a normal Latias, and we can still just 2 AKO the Lucario. Most of the time, anyway. So, yeah. But yeah, that's Latias. We'll actually go standard. Speaking of standard, Tail Glow Manaphy. We're actually going to go Tail Glow this time because they have 2 things that outspeed me. One of them being one is Latios, which is just, I mean, that's scary in itself. But you know, Manaphy's got relatively good, like, natural bulk, so I might be able to just take a hit. Plus I have some really good switch-ins to Latios, surprisingly. And 2 is Aerodactyl, which Aerodactyl doesn't really want to switch in. But it can kind of just revenge me afterwards. But otherwise I outspeed everything. Like, if you have a look, oh, it's Swellow, but I'm not expecting Swellow regardless. Like, I'm not expecting that at all. But then it's like, after that, you know, you got the 2 base 90s with Lucario and Roserade, then Rotom and Empoleon. Empoleon is the big one to actually try and take down with this. Even with +3 and, like, max special attack investment, a Spadeffic Empoleon only takes, like, 33% from Energy Ball. So we will actually have to get to +6 against that thing, and if it's got Raw, then, you know, that's a bit more of an issue. So that's going to be one of the main Pokemon to try and take down here. But otherwise, this can really clean up in the late game. 1 Tail Glow can pretty much kill everything else, no problem. Surf, Ice Beam, and Energy Ball does really good damage. And I've got the leftovers on here over any other offensive boosting item. Just because I want to make sure that Manaphy has a little bit more longevity in it. It makes it easier to get in. I don't just have to bring it in for free. And if something tries to get a little bit of chip on it to try and pick up a KO, the leftovers will make it a little bit hard to do so. So, that's the idea with the Manaphy. Especially if I'm going to take a hit to set up a Tail Glow, like, that buff will be nice. So, next up, Nidoqueen. Same moveset as last week, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, and Toxic. Just a different spread. I'm not fast and offensive this time, I'm a lot more bulky. Well, I'm bulky offense. The speed is just a speed creep, a bulky Rotom. So if they're running like a defensive Rotom with not much speed, then that's what this is here to outspeed. Max special attack, and then the defense the just rest dumped in HP. The reason for this is, one, it's really good at killing Empoleon. Can't switch it into Empoleon really well, but like I can kill Empoleon really well. It's really good just into their defensive Pokemon in general. The best defensive Pokemon that they have that can take it is going to be like the Rotom Heat. Because Empoleon doesn't want to take the Earth Powers, and Hippowdon doesn't want to take the Ice Beams. And if they call it wrong with that coverage, things can get really dicey. Because out of the main 7, in my eyes, ignoring Marwell and Swellow, and even then they kind of fall into the same boat, Latios doesn't want to take Ice Beam, and Lucario doesn't want to take Earth Power, Hippo doesn't want to take Ice Beam, Roserade doesn't want to take Ice Beam, Empoleon doesn't want to take Earth Power, Aero doesn't want to take Ice Beam, Marwell doesn't want to take Earth Power, and Swellow doesn't want to take Ice Beam. So the only Pokemon in that doesn't really fall into either of those is Rotom Heat. And while I haven't done this calc myself, let's do it now for my knowledge, because I'm going to be playing this match in like an hour. Sludge Wave against a Spadef Rotom Heat, which is going to be the best thing that they've got to try and deal with this. And that's still, what, like 40%? 45% minimum. That's a 2-hit KO after Rocks. Which we do have Registeel for Rocks, so yeah, that's their best switching, which is why I wanted Sludge Wave. It's like, I could have run like a physical like rock type move, but I thought generally, even though they've got 3 steals, like clicking Sludge Wave is going to be pretty reasonable a lot of the time, just to cover things. And otherwise it's like, well, they've got to, switch into Earth Power Ice Beam. It's like, well, the only Pokemon that can do that on their team is Rotom Heat, and that's where I can hit it with the Sludge Wave, and it's not like they can Volt Switch out. So that's the idea there. And the bulk means that we're going to take pretty minimal damage. Like, if it's not an offensive Rotom Heat, you can see here, like, this is against a not bulky Nidoqueen. And the Nidoqueen we have is a lot not that bulky, mind you. A lot bulkier. So there's a chance that, like, it just doesn't do, like, nearly enough, so to really put us in range. And the Toxic is there just to kind of throw around things. Again, if I hit the Rotom Heat with it, that's great, but also things like Hippowdon are going to be really nice to get bits of chip on. Means that Blaziken can come up and sweep in the late game, as that's going to be, I presume, their main physically defensive threat for this physically defensive Pokemon for this team. Next up, Registeel. We've got an interesting Registeel set, that's for sure. Stealth Rock, T-Wave, Flash Cannon, and Charge Beam. I was considering a Hammer Arm for the Empoleon, but I thought that's probably not worth it. I imagine the 2 of those Pokemon will stay stalemate, and also if they go for Scald and Burn Me, then going for Hammer Arms doesn't really do anything. So I thought, well, what's the best way to kind of mitigate that? And the idea I came up with Charge Beam. Charge Beam giving is a 70% chance to buff the special attack, and with Flash Cannon, we can do pretty decent damage. T-Wave to, like, if they are forced to go into something a little bit more defensive, or more offensive, things like, notably the Lucario that I would imagine wants to switch in. We can get a T-Wave on that, and that will really mitigate that Pokemon as a threat. For a lot of my other Pokemon, notably the Nidoqueen, that will be able to outspeed and kill it afterwards. But if they just want to stay in and try and give me Charge Beams, and me getting +1 of special attacks, Flash Cannons aren't going to do unreasonable damage. It'll, have roughly the same special attack at that point as what Manaphy has, after a +1. So, and Flash Cannons are going to do pretty reasonable damage to a number of Pokemon. At least a reasonable chip. Obviously, Stealth Rocks is nice as well, getting those rocks up and see if we can keep them up as long as we can without having to go into Latias and defogging them away. I think Registeel could put in a decent work against this team, as well as it being a really good answer to Roserade and a pretty solid answer into Latios. We've also got a little bit of defense investment. This is to make sure we can live a Life Orb close combat from Lucario. Just in case we want to try and pick up, get the T-Wave on it, sack off Registeel for a T-Wave, and just that be it. Or if we just need that little bit of chip to make sure it goes down to a Flash Cannon or something. So, that is Registeel. And last but not least, our first time bringing Umbreon. A little bit of random speed because I felt like it. Empoleon's pretty close to Umbreon in speed, so I wanted just a random bit of speed. But special defensive Umbreon, we've got a physically defensive Pokemon, kind of a mixed defensive, and then special defensive, so very defensive core. And then, like, a Scarf Sweeper, Nidoqueen's bulky offense just to deal breaking power, and then Manaphy's kind of a cleaner. with Tail Glow. And then Umbreon is kind of here to help keep everything healthy. If I end up bringing Manaphy in a bit earlier, I can use Umbreon to wish it up. Nidoqueen will also appreciate the wishes. Mostly it's going to be for Registeel. But this is one of those situations where they have a strong fighting type that they maybe want to bring in, scare out Umbreon with. And that's where things like Latias can come in for free, as well as Nidoqueen. Both those Pokemon would also appreciate a wish, and we can get those wishes out there very safely because we have Baton Pass. So... we've got Foul Play. Foul Play does the most to Latios. This is my dedicated Latios check. Even physical isn't going to really break Umbreon. If it's physical, Foul Play is going to really ruin it. So, that's kind of my check to physical. Whereas, like, cool if it's physical and they want to try and DD, because Latios can DD, unlike Latias. Can Dragon Dance on up and, try and sweep that way. Foul Play will answer that, and even Calm Mind sets, Calm Mind Roost. Like, store power stuff, that won't break Umbreon. Especially because, yeah, that's what I was double-checking. Foul Play has more PP than Roost/Recover. Both of them have the same PP, so we can stall them out. And then if we need to, we can just Baton Pass out and just, go into, like, Blaziken and U-turn or whatever. I don't know what kind of Latios set it is. Last time they ran, Calm Mind and just 6-0'd someone. So, that's a possibility. They could also be Scarf to try and outspeed my Latias, because they may expect me to go Scarf Latias here. I'm not. I'm using it as a defensive piece because I need something to deal with Lucario. So, like I say, Zapdos was really considered for this one. Granbull was considered, but I felt like these were going to be the strongest Pokemon here. So. This is the main top end of my team, really. Other than Zapdos, this is really the top end, and I felt like I had to bring my top end to go against theirs, so. There's no real niche Pokemon that I'm really afraid of. It's like, what, Swellow? I'm like, cool. If it's Swellow, it's Swellow. I've still got Registeel, who has reasonable amount of physical defense and will not care about it. And Mawile, I'm not afraid of. I'll be like, cool, Mawile wants to come, I'm just going to bring in Nidoqueen, and that's just more free Earth powers for me. So, I don't think they want to give up either of their other steals to bring Mawile, and I don't think they want to bring 3 steals into Nidoqueen. So yeah. That is going to do it for this team builder. So I will see you guys for the match. Wish me luck, because I think I'm going to need it. Alright, here we go. Time for the match against Shinrai. Oh dear. I'm not expecting this to go well. Let me just organize this a little bit better. Just put in my sets. Yeah. I am logged in. Cool. So yeah, there we go. General, it's the battle. Show what teams we can do. Let's go. They did bring Swellow, no Latios. Okay, Umbreon's definitely freed up then. But it does mean that Registeel's kind of got a bit more work to put in. Okay. I don't mind Nidoqueen as a lead here. Do not mind Nidoqueen as a lead at all. So, I'm going to go with Nidoqueen as a lead. The lead Rose Raid. Who expects Leaf Storm? Can kill me. Am I willing to lose my Nidoqueen off the bat for that? I'll go for it. To go to the heat. Not messing about. I'll check for lefties in a sec. Alright, that looks specially defensive. Yeah. Is that 15.5? Did 15, so it has to be calm max. Or calm mostly max. So we'll go for the sludge wave here. 47%. They will-o-wisp me for a little bit of chip. We got a low roll there. So at 47%. So at 50%. It's a 62% chance to KO. They have 2 steel types they could go to here. I'm gonna make a read. Ooh, unfortunate. So I don't die to another. But I do get to go to Manaphy. Yeah. I'd see I'm lefties. Let's go for a Tail Glow. It does very, very little damage. Guts. Burned. After the lefties, that's not going to kill. It'd have to be animate to get the kill. I'd say this is Spadef Rotom Heat. You know, there's not many Pokemon they can have that can be offensive here. I expect it's going to be Bizdef Hippowdon. Yeah, Empoleon's got to come in, and it's got to show me that it's Spadef. If it's not Spadef, it's not going to take this well. 45% and rolls me out, yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing many switch-ins hit to this here. Bizdef's not taking this. There's no way Bizdef takes this. Yeah, Bizdef doesn't take it. How much does Roserade take? If it's got some bulk, it could take it. But very unlikely. Heat's going to go down here. Something had to die there. I guess they could have gone Hippo, yeah. They could have gone Hippo, which they go to now. Let's look at some stuff about Hippowdon, shall we? BDSP draft. What kind of moves does Hippowdon get? Notably, does it get Toxic? Excuse me. Yawn, Slack Off, Rocks, Whirlwind. Like, I think I'm okay going into Latias here. Covers the Rocks option, covers the Earthquake option, which is, I think, are the two most likely options. Yeah. Get my lefties up. Go for a defog. I may as well just keep myself, you know, keep these rocks off my side of the field. Eventually, I'll get a chance to go into Registeel and set up rocks of my own. Swellow's in. This is my physically defensive Pokemon. Yeah, so there's Guts Flame Orb. Let me just double check Swellow. It's not got nothing to hit Registeel, right? Yeah, it's got nothing to hit Registeel, but it could just U-turn. In which I just come back into Latias, that's fine. Yeah, so U-turns on out, I have to go to Registeel. So, I'm not taking the close combat from Lucario at this point. But just keeping the pressure off is good. So, let's have a look against Registeel. Like, I should assume Guts Max. Swallow. Why is it just... Max... Guts... and Facade. Well, let's put in Facade. Let's put in U-turn. Brings in the... Okay. Well, I'm not against this position. I have things that can revenge you. Let's throw a T-Wave out there. They're gonna scold me. Get a T-Wave on it, which is certainly appreciated. I set up my rocks, and they're just willing to stay in here. And now to show the tech. And say, hey, listen. I don't appreciate that. You can't stay in here forever. Whereas I know I can. So... Manaphy versus Hippowdon. That's especially offensive. Surf does 76%. They got rocks. Does Swallow die after rocks to surf? Yes, it should. Like, this could have Roar itself, but they're risking losing a lot of damage on Hippowdon, and I think they need this Hippowdon to win them this game. Should not be in range of Guts Facade. Guts. I have to do this. Earned. Max attack. 83% minimum. So I can go for a Tail Glow? Are you also Raw? You're Whirlwind, okay. Well, let's just U-turn on out here. I could have gone for the Surf. I guess I'll just go to Latias. And Manaphy comes in. Okay, well, now I'm surfing. Now that I know you also... So... Okay, so I know the last two moves. Like, Whirlwind was the question mark. I go to Empoleon, which makes a lot of sense. And they can't really afford for me to just stay in Tail Glow. But if I get... like, in my opinion, it's like, okay, so I can do about 15%. Well, about 20% with Energy Ball. Or I can Tail Glow and go for the 25%. So I'm going to go for the Tail Glow. If they roar, they roar. But we're hoping for the T-Wave or that. They had to get rid of the rocks. And now we get to go for a Tail Glow boosted Energy Ball. 45%. They just go for a Scald. They're going to have to let this go. The power of Manaphy. Actually, is Surf enough here? I have seen Energy do 45% and 45%. So 45% both times. Which is about average for this sort of Empoleon. Surf actually can't... for Surf can get the KO, so I'm just going to go for Surf. Cover the switch to Roserade. Swellow comes in. In my eyes, they have to go for this. They can try and U-turn and keep momentum, but I know that this can kill, and I don't want to risk it. They just U-turn on out. They go to Lucario. Latias has some damage on it. If I do lose Registeel, I am going to lose my main switch into this thing. So I'm going to go to Latias. It's close combat, so we played it safe. Thank goodness. And it is Life Orb. Okay. So I believe actually we live at this point. Unless it's Animant, in which that could be an issue. Lucario. Versus Latias. It's Adamant. It shouldn't do that much damage without Adamant. Yeah, 35% it can't do that without Adamant. Which means that Meteor Mash actually can't KO. So we're gonna Roost here. Does 76%? How much does a U-turn do? Probably about the same, right? No, much less. Okay. Every time they've U-turned... How much am I... Psychic does 70% to this thing. It's like super tempting to go for that. This Swellow is being far more annoying than I'd like. I'm gonna go Registeel. I'm gonna play it completely safe. Work up. Okay. But you still don't have anything that can hurt Registeel. So it could be mixed. U-turn, work up. I'm mixed defensive. So I think I should take this fine. I'm not going to get greedy and try and set up rocks here, just in case it does more than I'm expecting. They just U-turn on out. Okay. They go to Roserade. That's unfortunate. I don't see what Roserade can do to me. Right? Roserade can't hurt me. Unless it's a Sleep Powder Leech Seed set. I'm just going to try and set up rocks. mean, I've got my rocks up. And their defogger is down. I could go to Umbreon here. I think I like going to Umbreon here. I set up a layer of spikes. So I'm going to go for a Baton Pass here. Just get into Latias. Now, not only am I threatening them out, I can also clear these spikes. Which at this point, I think it is a 1000% worth me doing. They missed the Leech Seed. That is unfortunate. I did miss my Charge Beam, but I think, you know, mine's a bit more of a big deal. Anyway, I do actually have the Psychic. Is Pyappa. Looks like they can take 2, especially with the Leech Seed. I don't really think they've got something that wants to take the Psychic at this point. Their main switch into Psychic was the Empoleon. So I'm going to go for this here. I think I take a Lucario hit still. Swellow comes in. I don't take chances. I got a Registeel. Then Lucario comes in. If this is SD... No, if it's SD, it's fine. I'm going to go to Nidoqueen. I'm going to sack Nidoqueen here. Okay, that's fine. Because I have Blaziken, how much does Blaziken do to Hippo? Physically offensive Hippo? Impish? It's like 28%, so it's not that much. But Latias doesn't get the kill on Lucario. Not even at -1. It does after the Life Orb, which I suppose is nice. Yeah, we'll get it after the Life Orb. So yeah, I guess we'll go with that then. Because Adamant doesn't get it, right? Adamant does 55.9 max. And I can't really afford for this thing to go for a Swords Dance here. Go for a Psychic. Just a pretty reasonable chunk there. I'm going to Roost on up. Keep Latias nice and healthy. They can slack off themselves, but I'll just Psychic until I need to defog, and then, you know, go from there. I could even go to Manaphy if I really wanted to be greedy. How much would the... That's... I want Hippo. That's 30... Oh, I mean, it's not going for it. There's no way it's going for it. If I go to Manaphy, I can just go for a Surf. Would Surf with no boost kill the Swellow? We determined that earlier, right? 81%. It is at 82 and then the burn. And Sand. So yeah, I'm going to go to Manaphy. They put up rocks. But I get Manaphy in for free. And I get to go for a Surf. This is the last thing standing in the way of Blaziken just winning the game. 82% there. They go for the EQ. Manaphy, you have done your job. Blaziken will clean up for you. Crit did not matter. Burst the word. Swellow comes in. Manaphy, you have done your job. 1000% check. Close combat is indeed a kill. Even on max HP. Max HP is still a kill. We go to Blaziken. You're burned. We know what thingy you are. And I just say, listen. Because there's no way you're running quick attack at this point. You need a flying move. There's no way it's quick attack. Even if it is, it's not enough. Oh, but I say, because Facade's way stronger. It needs to be BP here. E-speed. That's not too bad. I still have Latias. Who's faster. And then it doesn't have the health to keep going. Goes for the E-speed, doesn't get the kill, and dies to Life Orb. Whew! We get the win. They had a decent amount of priority there to kind of finish off my Blaziken. But Blaziken managed to keep put on enough pressure, and then Latias could live because I was physically defensive, so... Whew! Kind of just came down to my defensive Pokemon at the end. Latias kind of holding the line, otherwise Lucario... I knew Lucario was a threat going into this, so... Glad I at least had something dedicated for it. Like, that was Zapdos, but here, if it was Zapdos here, we would have been boned, because Powdon just kept staying alive till the end. So, that will do it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.